Alright, I'm going to show you my cryptocurrency tracker app here. So basically, here's the list of all the cryptocurrencies that I am tracking right now. And if I want to track something else, I can just go here, type it in, and click track crypto, and it'll add another tab up here where you can see all the charts. Now right here I have a cryptocurrency status grid, which basically gives you all the data that you would want to look at for these cryptocurrencies. Like all this stuff is in the charts on the tabs up here. So for example, right here's Bitcoin. You can see the business value ratio and the average, as well as the current RSI, projected RSI, which is a relative strength indicator, if you don't know, and previous price as well as the current price, and 24-hour percent change in US dollars. Highest sentiment date, which is the highest sentiment spike in the past 30 days. Number of sentiment dates recorded, and then also the buyer's action, which basically tells you what to do as a buyer. So there's basically don't watch, watch, or buy, and right now it's telling us to watch Bitcoin. And then seller's action, don't watch, and then, which is basically the same thing as buyer action, tells us don't watch, watch, or sell. And then in a notes section, which is basically telling us 30 days of sentiment data is needed for best accuracy, and right now at the moment I only have 22, so I need to wait a little longer to have better accuracy for all these. But alright, so now I'm going to track Mothership, which is one of the cryptocurrencies that I don't currently have on here. If I type that in, I just click track crypto, and then it'll add it to the bottom of this list down here once it populates its data. And then a message pops up saying it was successfully added. So I click on Mothership down here, and here's the chart. So we have the business value ratio right here in the top chart, with the orange line as the average, and then the relative strength indicator is here with the orange line as the 50% line, and as you can see, the dashed line is today's RSI projection based on the current price. And then down here is the sentiment indicator. So obviously, well, I used to be tracking this, and then I took it off because it wasn't on the top 250 list anymore, but I decided to add it just to show you how to add a new chart to the tracker. So yeah, that's how I add the cryptocurrencies, and you can see all these other ones over here. One of them that I'm tracking right now is Zencash. So you can see all these different charts over here, and then here's more sentiment data. So you can see these are the sentiment spikes, like right here, and then yeah. So for example, if you're looking to buy some Zencash, basically the business value ratio is below the average currently, and then the relative strength indicator is still below 50. So once this projection line would cross the 50% line, or 50 line, that's when you would want to buy into it. And also, if a sentiment spike occurred that was higher than this one over here on this side of the chart for more recently, then that would be another signal to buy. So currently there's a bunch of them that are watching, because there's a lot of them that have an RSI that's below 50, but the projection hasn't crossed the 50% line yet. So we're currently waiting for that before we get a buy signal from these. And then on seller's action, there's none that we're actually able to watch, because all of them don't have an RSI above 70. And that's mainly due to a crash that occurred like just last week or so, because South Korea was there were rumors that South Korea was going to be banning cryptocurrency exchanges over there, but that actually didn't end up happening. So the market's currently recovering right now. Alright, so now I'm going to show you the net worth tab. This obviously is not my net worth for obvious reasons. But basically you can see here all the cryptocurrencies in this list, as well as the quantity that you have. So you can basically put whatever quantity in here, and this net worth chart will update based on the current price of the cryptocurrency, and then the chart will obviously show the historical price of your net worth over the past 30 days. So if let's say I wanted to add one more Bitcoin to my fake quantity here, I put 2 there. This net worth will update, and then this chart will repopulate with new values. You can see here that just went up by like 11,000, and then this chart just repopulated to move it up a bit. And then let me see. I'm gonna add some more Ethereum as well. So let's make this 10 and see what happens. That went up by like 4,000, and then the chart just moved up as well. So yeah, basically you can track almost any combination of cryptocurrencies in this net worth chart here. Another thing I wanted to show you was the population of the data. Now, the previous price, that doesn't actually get populated until the data has a refresh, which is every 5 minutes. And basically it's going to refresh the data, and it's going to get all the data for all these cryptocurrencies, like the 30-day BVR and the 30-day RSI here. So yeah, it only takes like 2 minutes to populate each one of these with the parallel processing that's in here. And I was surprised I was able to get it down so low. But I'm going to pause the recording and wait until it starts populating so that I can show you what it's doing here. Alright, so now it's starting to repopulate this data here. And you can see that the previous price and pretty much everything's being updated for all of these, including the buyers and sellers actions. And yeah, everything's changing now. Obviously it's using multi-threading so that I can still do anything on this. And so for each of these cryptocurrencies, their charts are being repopulated with the new data. So it's basically, it's just constantly updating. Every 5 minutes it's doing this whole process over again. And it just keeps updating everything, so you get real-time data. And then also at the end of the process, the net worth chart, that also repopulates. So your net worth will update automatically every 5 minutes, and that chart will repopulate as well. So it's already finished about half of them. Alright, now I'm going to show you the database. So yeah, these temporary tables, we can ignore them because I was using those originally and then it was causing issues with the population of the data. So start with the watch list here. So it's just basically a list of the name of the cryptocurrency and the quantity owned. That the quantity owned is basically just populating the net worth chart there. Yeah, so it's just a whole list of all the cryptocurrencies that are in there. And then yeah, I keep my own data in here, so whatever I actually own is in this table. So I do that so that if I change it on the actual application to see other things, then the data won't change in here. Unless I actually change it. But anyway, go to BVR data. So this basically gives the name of the cryptocurrency as well as the acronym, which is like the symbol, master symbol for the currency. The updated date time, which is basically just the date time format of the timestamp that I'm retrieving from the API that I'm using. And then the market cap and 24-hour volume, and then the current price as of the timestamp time. So if I do, let's do Bitcoin. Alright, so I've been tracking this since the beginning of November. So at the beginning of November 2nd, the price was at about 7,000. And now it's up to about 11,000, as you can see over here. So there's a lot of data in this. Yeah, because these are basically any time the data is refreshed, or it's for the hour that it's stored. So like you can see here, it goes hourly for BVR data. And then RSI data. RSI data is based on the closing price. So it has the name, acronym, updated date time, and the closing price of the cryptocurrency for each day. So I'll go ahead and do Bitcoin again. Wait, shuffle that. There you go. So you can see the closing price of each day for the past who knows how long. So you can see over here it was up to, closing price was up to about 19,500 at one point on December 16th, and then it went down a bit, but it's still going to go up. And there's data from October in this one, that whereas it was at $5,000 almost. So it went up quite a bit this year. Let's look at sentiment data. Once again, I'll do some Bitcoin here. So these are basically the sentiment points, and my chart basically tracks the difference in the sentiment points over time. And usually it's between every 5 minutes. So you can see right here, it went up by about 2,000 points in this time period. And you can see on, hopefully we can see it on the sentiment chart over here. I think that was most likely this spike right at the end over here, where it went up 2,000 points in 5 minutes. So yeah, and there's also an error logs table here, which basically just logs all the errors that occur in the application. And yeah, sometimes there's going to be data issues. I was actually getting data from a different API earlier this week or last week, and I was getting error 429 for too many requests. I was basically being blocked from accessing it because I was accessing it too much, so I had to get the BVR data from a different website that wouldn't block me. But yeah, I'm still working on getting more valuable error messages, because sometimes I don't know what's going on, and sometimes the data doesn't come out right. Like for example, up here, there's no BVR data for some reason, but that might just be due to the website itself. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed this presentation.